Of course, this is incredibly disappointing for the athletes. Let's speak to Dr Dan Gordon, former Great Britain Paralympian and sports scientist at Anglia Ruskin University. Thanks very much for joining us here on the programme, Dr Gordon. I mean, as I was just saying, this is incredibly disappointing for athletes if this does happen. But of course, we haven't seen anything like this before.
No, I think it is completely unprecedented. I know we keep hearing that phrase in everything, but it is unprecedented. The notion or even the idea of moving the Olympic Games is something that we've never comprehended before. And I think as was just reported, it's not just simply the Games being moved. It's the issue of, if it is moved to 2021, all the logistical issues that come with that, both for the athlete and the organising committee.
Of course, as a former Paralympian yourself, I mean, give us a sense. We know how hard athletes work, to be able to compete at that level.
Yes, and I think that is something where the decision needs to be made quickly, because for athletes, they are in this state of limbo at the moment, not really knowing whether they should carry on with this very intense block of training, which they use to build towards a major Olympic or Paralympic Games, or whether actually what they should be doing is reducing the amount of training and aiming for 2021. It has an enormous ramification in terms of the pressure, both physically and also psychologically, that the athletes are under. And I think if a decision is made, it does need to be made sooner rather than later.
And of course, because we're all being told at the moment to stay indoors, don't go outside, it makes it increasingly difficult for a lot of the athletes to be able to train as well.
It does, because I think for a lot of the sports, they are classically indoor-based sports. And I think you can imagine anything from table tennis to track cycling to fencing. They're indoor-based sports. So the athletes wouldn't only be competing indoors, but they'd be training indoors. They may be going to the gym to having to train as well. So in many ways, it feels like the decision is being made for the Olympic Committee, the Japanese organising committee and the IOC. I just think it needs them to come out with it, because in other walks of life, we are being instructed to social isolate, stay indoors, not come into close proximity with each other. Whereas with an athlete, they would probably be training with a group of other athletes. They'd be training with a coach and other members of a sports science support team, which all really kind of goes against the grain of what's been recommended.
Very much so. And is there a sense across the board that there's angst about this? You know, they want a decision made as soon as possible?
I think so. I mean, I've heard from a number of athletes that I know from the Paralympic team who are just desperate to have a yes or a no answer. I think they know in their heart of hearts it's going to be a no, the games are going to have to be postponed. I mean, I think what they desperately want is that it's not just cancelled. But I think that state of indecision really just leaves nobody really knowing what they're doing, which is very, very difficult for everybody involved.
Very much so. Dr Dan Gordon, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.